My name is Milo, and for the past month, I lived in a house that felt more like an abandoned memory than a home. When my wife, Aria, packed her bags and said she needed space, I expected silence, confusion, maybe even pain. What I didn't expect was how quickly peace would settle into the empty rooms when she left. No shouting, no cold shoulders, no walking on eggshells, just the quiet hum of my own thoughts. For the first week, I kept expecting her to call. The second week, I realized she wasn't going to. By the fourth, I'd adjusted so completely to being alone that the idea of her returning felt like remembering a song you used to love but no longer recognized. So when she finally walked back through the front door, suitcase in one hand and a forced smile on her face, I didn't feel the jolt of excitement I thought I would. I just felt still. She stepped inside like she owned the air again. "Milo?" she said softly. "I'm home." I nodded. "Looks like it." Her eyes scanned me, searching for emotion, maybe longing, maybe regret, but I wasn't offering either. Not anymore. She set her suitcase down and brushed her hair behind her ear the way she always did when trying to seem gentle. "Did you miss me?" she asked. Her voice carried a playful tone, almost teasing, as if I had spent nights pacing the floor waiting for her shadow to reappear. I smiled politely. I didn't even have time to. The sentence landed heavier than I meant it to, but I didn't take it back. Truth has its own weight. You can't make it lighter once it leaves your mouth. Her expression tightened, first confusion, then a flicker of something sharper. She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could, the bedroom door clicked and two figures stepped out. Cleo and Nova, her twin cousins. They looked like they had just woken up, hair a little messy, wearing matching oversized shirts the way they always did. I'd almost forgotten they were staying with us temporarily before Aria left. They had arrived for a short internship in the city, and when Aria decided to take a break, they'd asked if they could stay until the month was up. I told them yes. They were quiet, respectful, paid for groceries, cleaned after themselves. And unlike Aria, they didn't turn every conversation into a test I didn't know I was taking. But Aria didn't know any of that, because she never checked in, not once. Cleo froze when she saw her. A soft, "Oh," slipped out. Nova blinked twice, startled. "You're back?" Aria whipped her head toward me. "They've been here?" I replied. "They didn't have anywhere else to go. Their internship didn't end until yesterday." Her jaw dropped slightly. "In our house? For a whole month? Milo, why didn't you tell me?" I raised a brow. "When exactly? During the calls you didn't make? The messages you didn't send?" She pressed her lips together, embarrassed, though she tried to hide it behind indignation. "That's not fair. I needed time." "And I gave you that time," I said calmly. "But life didn't freeze because you walked out." Cleo shifted awkwardly, giving a small, apologetic smile as she said, "We can go out for a while, give you two some privacy." But before they could move, Aria snapped, "No, stay." Her tone surprised all three of us. "They were here," she said slowly, "the entire time I was gone." "Yes," I replied. "They kept to themselves. I barely saw them except for work and meals." "And you didn't think that was strange? Having two women here while your wife was away?" I studied her, not angry, just tired. Why would I? Their family, and you were the one who left, not them. The room held a quiet tension, not suffocating, just thick, with truths we hadn't spoken before. Aria's eyes darted to Cleo and Nova again, and I could see something shifting behind her expression. Not jealousy, not suspicion, something closer to insecurity. Like she finally understood she wasn't the center of every universe she walked into. She whispered, "I didn't think you'd be okay without me." There it was, her truth. Not about love, not about marriage, but about the role she believed she played in my life. I said, I know. You thought leaving would make me chase you. She breathed short, guilt flickering across her features. She didn't deny it. And you didn't, she said softly, almost to herself. You really didn't. No, I said. Her shoulders faltered, and for a moment she looked smaller than I had ever seen her. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't hate it. I just saw her. She asked, "What happened to us?" I took a slow breath. We stopped listening. We stopped being kind. We let resentment eat the space between us until the silence felt safer than the conversation. Cleo and Nova stood by the hallway, unsure whether to stay or retreat. Nova gently touched Arya's arm. We never meant to make things harder. You didn't, I assured her. You two being here wasn't the problem. It just showed me something I didn't expect. What? Arya asked. That peace is possible. And it doesn't have to come from distance. It can come from the right kind of presence. Her eyes softened, a shimmer gathering, not from manipulation, not from theatrics, from something real. Fear of losing something she thought she had control over. Milo, I came back because I thought I still mattered, because I thought maybe you'd realize you needed me. I nodded slowly. You do matter. But needing you and loving you have never been the issue. It's the way you left. The way you expected me to wait in emotional limbo until you decided you were ready again. She swallowed hard. And now? Now, I said gently, I'm not sure waiting is love anymore. Sometimes it's self-abandonment. Cleo exhaled quietly. Nova looked down her hands. They weren't intruding. They were witnessing. And maybe that mattered more than anyone realized. Arya wiped her cheek with the back of her hand. I didn't mean to hurt you, Milo. I know, but intention doesn't erase the impact. For a long moment, the four of us stood there in a strange, delicate stillness, like the air between us all had shifted direction. Then Arya whispered, What do you want me to do? I took a moment to answer, not to punish her with silence, not to make her desperate, but because I didn't want to speak out of anger or ego. First, I need honesty, not the dramatic kind, the real kind. She nodded slowly. And second, I continued, I need to know if you came back because you love me or because you didn't expect the house to function without me. Her lips parted, but no words came. Maybe because she didn't know the answer yet. Maybe because she was realizing it for the first time. I think, she said softly, I think it might be both. I sighed, not from frustration, but in a quiet, resigned understanding. That's exactly what scares me. Cleo stepped forward gently. Maybe, she said, this isn't a moment to decide everything. Maybe it's just a moment to admit what's broken. Nova added softly, and to stop pretending it isn't. Arya looked at me, with eyes that weren't demanding or defensive anymore, just human. She whispered, I want to fix this, but I need you to meet me halfway. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time since she left, I realized the truth I had been avoiding. Arya, I don't need you to come back. I need you to come home. They're not the same. Her breath trembled, and for the first time, she understood.